Hey guys, it's Mike, another King Arthur Legends Rise video. Today we're going to do an update on the update. I learned a couple more things about what was going on with the update itself, as well as the events, and kind of go through a strategy of what I'm trying to achieve after one day of tackle going on. The first thing I wanted to mention is in Lake Avalon with the upgraded summons, the rate up summons, they did change the coding in here where you are guaranteed to get the rate up champion at your 60th pull, if not before. This will reset only when you pull the rate up champion. So if you pull any of the other champions in the pool, the Pitty will stay where it is until you pull the rate up champions. So this means every 60 pulls, you're guaranteed to get at least one Clarison. And then every time you pull a Clarison, it resets back to 60, and then you can keep on going. If you do happen to pull a Vivian, Merlin, Bedivere, or Sigrun along the way, it's just icing on the cake, but it doesn't reset your Pitty, which is, I mean, super generous from Netmarble, if we're being honest. I mean, this already is a pretty generous Pitty system, and the fact that they're doing this where you're guaranteed to get this champion is pretty incredible. I personally have mixed feelings about it. I mentioned before in a previous video that guaranteeing the champion at 60 takes a little bit of that RNG away, where when you just expect it to happen, it's just not quite as fun. Although for the folks that are spending and they're trying to get a certain amount of like Chivalry 10, I've seen a couple of videos where they go 4 or 5 Pitty pulls without getting the rate up champion, and that's a bad feeling. That's a really, I can only imagine. I haven't spent that much money trying to get, you know, a Chivalry level 10 Nika, for example. But all in all, I think that's a huge quality of life upgrade, especially for the spenders on the account that might have a lot of folks maxed out and they're looking specifically for that new champion. So it gives them the opportunity to kind of be a little more consistent on how much it's going to cost to get to that Chivalry level 10. As far as the events, we've been going for one day. We've got an event for Irit and an event with Clarison here. The Irit event is you need to use Irit on your team and clear Wiscalag as far as you can go. Currently, I'm farming stage 8 with Irit on my team. I haven't got her geared quite maxed out yet because I'm still trying to get gold. But after one day of farming, I've already got 2,000 points towards the 7,500. So initially I thought this was going to be quite an investment to get there, but these points do stack up pretty good. I did have some stamina stacked up from like the weekly reward and a monthly reward. I think I had 300 stamina. I still have stamina in my inbox, so potentially I can move through this a little quicker. And as soon as I get that one done, then we're moving on to Clarison to get the Arcelus floor. I think I'm farming floor 7 on this one. Might be floor 6. The one before it goes to 3 waves is where I'm at, because the 3rd wave just seems to kick my butt. But I'm hoping to build that team a little stronger. Did get 600 points already, but hoping to build that team a little stronger so that I can farm a little deeper before the end of this event. So I am working on some gear and some other things for that team. As far as the King Arthur event, they're teasing me with this little red dot. I want to collect it. It tells me I can't. I don't know where I'm supposed to get that. Obviously, we're at day 4 missions out of 28, but I have completed all of the missions. Got a red dot here I can't click on. So my OCD is like tripping out right now. Like, I want to clear the red dots. But these tasks were pretty easy to accomplish. Just spend a little extra time in the favored dungeon or whatnot, and a lot of this is kind of happening anyway. You do get these little tokens that apparently end up in your inbox. I'm not entirely sure what they do, so we're going to pull them today and kind of find out what they do together. But each day I'm assuming you're going to get so many of those that'll help your account along the way. Not to mention the extra rubies and everything in here. This is going to be a 7-day event that you have 14 days to complete, so it seems like it's going to be pretty easy to get it done if you're active in the game. On the gold collecting, my mentality here is by farming the Clarison event and the Irit event, I will be stacking up gold through that. As we get closer to the end, if I haven't hit the 10 million requirement, I might jump over into Gorgos and use the stamina there, because this does end 7 days ahead of these other events. But as much as I can piggyback on it and kind of double down on that stamina, I think it'll definitely be beneficial to do that, and that way I can kind of kill two birds with one stone, as they say. On the arena challenge, pretty straightforward, just going through trying to battle it out. I got 20 battles in, 50 maxes it out. So again, we have 7 days to do that. I'm 1 day in and I'm almost halfway done. I did kind of hit a standstill as far as battles that I have the potential of winning. Although you do not have to win these battles, you just have to go in. So I could just go through and fight 50 times, and if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But I'm also trying to keep my ranks up so that I can get those arena tokens as well. And then last but certainly not least, we've got the raid bounty with Aldry. This is actually a really cool event for me because I've been neglecting this dungeon since I've been playing. I am only farming stage 8. I can beat stage 9, but it's not consistent and it takes a long time. On this event, we got to get to 8,000 here to max it out. I don't see why not. In a single day, I'm at 2,300 here. I've got Iwarids moving forward. This one does end before the Iwarids and the Clarison event, so I am trying to put a little more energy into this one right now to get these all this extra stamina, which is going to help me press this along a little faster, as well as get more equipment on my account, which ultimately is going to be a huge win because I have almost 0 of my relics awakened. So I've been neglecting this dungeon for way too long. So it'll be good to start getting some of those pieces available to upgrade my champions. But checking up the pop-up offers on the 100 Days celebration, they've got this guy here for $3. You get a 10 pull, you get 620 rubies, and you get this guy here, which is a carefully prepared gift. So I'm not really sure what that is, but for $3, and then on top of which, I think you get these 5 summoning tokens for purchasing one purchase. So it's pretty good value. It's going to be pretty hard to say no to that. It looks like you can only get one of those on the account. They also have this guy at $5, where you get basically the same thing, a little bit more on the summoning tokens. This one's at $7. You get 20. They might get me. They might get me. I don't know. I'm trying to behave myself. But if you compare this to, say, the Champion Pass, you could buy one of these for $3, one of these for $5. That's 8. You can buy 2 of these at 7, which is going to be, what are we at? 7 is 14 and 8's $22. So about the same price as the Champion Pass. But you're going to get 20 pulls, 40 pulls by buying 2 of those, 55. 65 pulls for $22. That's going to be significantly more than what's going on in the Champion Pass, although you do get the guaranteed legendary in the Champion Pass, and some of those summons are raid up summons, but you also get all these rubies as well. So if you are going to spend $20, I kind of feel like it's probably better spent here because you're going to be guaranteed a legendary with 60 plus pulls, as well as all of the chivalries that go in front of that with the 60 pulls. So that's pretty big. Not to mention you get all these carefully prepared gifts, which I don't even know what they are, but if they're carefully prepared, they're probably going to be good. But we do have 14 days to make that decision, so I feel like I'm probably going to sit tight for now, but I don't know that I have the discipline to look at that for 14 days and say no every single day. I am coming up on potentially monetizing the channel in the very near future, so maybe this will be a celebratory video of finally getting to 4,000 watch hours. So that would be pretty fun. We could do a huge summon event, probably be the biggest one on the account if I got all that stuff dialed in. So speaking of summoning, let's take a peek at what we got going on here. We could actually make this a quick little 10 pull. Got these guys to pull in and see what's going on here. I think the best we can get is rare. We actually got 2 rares, so that's actually pretty good. Cormac Frost we already had, and Anguish's Storm. I'm not sure that. I think it would say new if it was new, so I think I already had that one. These guys here are those tokens you get from the 100-day event going on, and you can use them just like anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and use them and just see what we get from these tokens. So yeah, it's just going to be materials and so forth. Maybe you get stamina in here. Maybe potentially champions or summons, or who knows what you can get in there. I am stacking up the raid up summons. I don't think the guaranteed champion changes anything for me, just because the collector in me, I don't get a lot of these raid up summons. So I do, when new champions hit, I would like to get them at least chivalry level 0 just to have them on the account and kind of play with them and get a feel for what they do. So I am going to hold on to those guys there. But we do have 1,500 rubies up here, and we're only a couple away. So let's pull a 10-pack. Yesterday we actually got a legendary and reset Pitty again. So that was pretty exciting. I'm not expecting that again. But hey, you know what? Stranger things have happened. So we'll see. We get our rare for sure. And we're getting rare. Hopefully more than one. We'd love to get some chivalry. Got 2 rares going on there. So let's see who we got. We got Kay. Awesome. I think I need one more copy of her, and then she will be maxed out. And then Boar's over here is chivalry level 2, so I need some work on there. You can see my chivalry level 10s are stacking up here, and I'm getting more and more of these memory stones that I'm able to sell off and increase my account. So there's these 3 characters now. Kay's not quite there, but she's getting really close. So we'll go and exchange those. You can see I am stacking up the tokens there, as well as on the relics. We can select all there, make sure this box is checked so you don't sell anything that you actually need. So that was a new one for me, Anguish's Storm. I don't know if it's any good. I think his Frost Relic is typically the better one, but having it on the account is always a benefit. So we're going to go ahead and exchange those, get 800 more tokens, and they're going to disappear. That warning always makes me nervous. So the tokens are starting to stack up. We got 400 of these guys here, which allows me to buy a copy of a rare character. So if I'm trying to particularly find a specific chivalry, at this point, if there was a K here, I'd probably buy it just to finish her out. And then I would also be looking at my Rosier, because I think her chivalry is down around 4 or 5, so she's got a lot of work ahead of her, and I'm trying to get her dialed in for some of these, for some of the dungeons. On the relic side of things, I'm not really at a place where I know which relics I'm looking for, and I haven't got enough to buy a legendary relic yet. So I'm kind of sitting tight on that until I have 52,000, and then I'll probably do a little more homework on who I want to actually spend that currency on. The only 2 I know for sure that I really want to get are going to be Merlin's Flame Relic and Morrigan's Storm Relic. I did get Morgan's Frost Relic, so now I have 2 of the 3, but her Storm Relic, it seems to be pretty heavily used, especially in Arena, and some of the dungeons, the top teams have her in her Storm Relic, so I feel like it's probably a pretty good relic to have on the account. But all in all, I really think these events are going to help my account out quite a bit. It's forcing me to farm in Aldry here and get some of those materials, but it's also going to get me a lot of forging materials, so I can go in and get going on some more vigor gear, which I need dramatically on the account. But also you're getting a lot of 5 and potentially 6-star gear if you are farming high enough as well. So even on the pieces that aren't vigor that you're using, it could be a big win. But you are stacking these guys up. I just need to get a whole bunch of these in order to farm some, or excuse me, forge some of this gear. And then as far as this, I mean, yeah, it's just tough getting any of this material. But this is where you really want to press deeper into the dungeons. You have a much higher % chance of getting these drop rates of the 5 and 6-star forging materials instead of the 4 and 5-star. To be honest, on my account, I do have quite a few champions still running 3-star gear. So even getting into this space is going to be a big win, especially over here where there's the primary stat that I'm trying to match to the champion. There's a lot of sacrifices I'm making that's not maximizing my champions because I need that vigor set, or I need that crit rate, or whatever it is. And so it's, you know, it's more important to have the set than the main stat. But if I could double it up and get the stat I want with the set that I want, it would be a huge win for the account. I did want to take a quick minute. As you farm these dungeons, you're going to be stacking up gear quite fast. And the best way to sell gear is if you come into your item box and hit sell items, you can actually click multiple, I think up to 50 items at a time to sell them. That may sound elementary, but for a while I was selling these individually inside of the hero management, and it was so cumbersome. So when I found this out, I was like, oh, that's way better. It made that whole process a lot easier. And you can come in here and filter what you're trying to sell. If you sort it the other way, it'll give you all your 2-star gear, 3-star gear, that you want, and if you want to sell your 4-star gear, you can kind of go through and sell. The more gear obviously you get, you probably want to sell off that lower stuff. But ultimately you only have 1,000 spots and I have 833 of them full. You can increase this using rubies. I don't know that it's necessary yet. I do feel like if you actually take gear that is good and put it on champions, it removes it from this pool. So that'll be another way to kind of expand the amount of spaces you have for gear. I did want to give a shout out to Netmarble. It seems like they really are keeping their finger on the pulse here. Like the Lake Avalon quality of life for the rate up summons being guaranteed at 60. This is something that has been quite a bit of buzz about in the community for some of the folks that have gone through hundreds of summons without getting the rate up summon champion. And for them to actually react to it and make that quality of life change is actually really cool. It's cool that they are engaging with the player base and trying to help them out, and you know, I mean, that's what's going to grow the player base and keep people coming back to play your game. I do think they need to be semi careful here, because at a certain point when you have every single champion in the game, I think that the excitement level is going to go down. And so I feel like potentially it'll get to a point where people either stop spending or stop playing because there's nothing for them to do. When you do get every champion in the game, all of the content becomes a lot easier because you have everybody you need. You just need to put the puzzle pieces together. I do think like Forbidden Dungeon and some of the things that they are launching are a great way to keep people engaged. I think another thing, like even with the events going on where you have to use Clarison or you have to use Iorit, that does add a unique challenge to building that team. Potentially, those are great champions, so they both do a great job there. But you could have one where maybe the champion is less than adequate. Now you're trying to keep them alive through the dungeon as opposed to them being a benefit. But it kind of create a different kind of challenge for you to put those puzzle pieces together, so to speak. But that's about what I got for you today. I appreciate hanging in with me all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments below what your strategy is for the events. Are you trying to get them all done like I am? Or are you picking and choosing the ones you want? Are you going for the rate up summons? If I were it, I would probably lean that direction, especially if you picked up the relic in the previous event, because you're going to be kind of a leg up on getting her going. Clarison is a great champion too. I personally haven't built mine out very well, but I have seen some pretty hard hitting Clarisons out there. But even though we're not getting a new champion this time around, I think in 2 weeks we probably will see a new champion coming to the game, maybe a rare or two. Come on, Netmarble. We're getting to the point now where we have more legendaries than rares in the game, so I feel like it's probably time to start, you know, fleshing out some of those other champions. But that being said, I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time.